Hi there, I'm Charlie Smith. I'm editor of the Georgia Straight, and I'm back for another week of Georgia Straight Talks. This week I'm going to focus on the Capture Photography Festival, which takes place in April, starting on April 2nd, at many venues, indoors and outdoors, across Metro Vancouver. One of the hallmarks of this festival is its public art exhibitions, and there happens to be one at Stadium Chinatown Station, and it's by a Haitian-Canadian lens-based artist, Emily Renier, and it's called How Do You Love Me? And this installation shows pictures, self-portraits of Emily with straight hair and curly hair, and they're put side by side, and then they're supplemented with messages about notions of beauty, how people perceived her when she had straight hair, when she had curly hair, how she perceived herself, and it's very thought-provoking. She has an international perspective in that she, as a child, her mother worked in international development, so she lived in Gabon, she lived in Senegal, she also lived in Paris, and she's from Montreal. The show was actually inspired by her younger sister, 18 years younger than her, and what happened was when she got a boyfriend at the age of 15, she decided to straighten her hair, and this reminded Emily of what she did when she was 14 years old. So she went on this exploration. She did it in Paris. It's very personal, and it's she doesn't want to, tell people how to think. She wants people to look at these images and draw their own conclusions. I found when I looked at them, it was quite troubling in that something as trivial as hair, whether it's straight or curly, could have profound impacts on how a young woman thinks about herself and also about how others think of her. This show was curated by Emmy Lee Wall, who's the executive director of the Capture Photography Festival, and Ms. Wall has also co-curated another exhibition at the festival, and it's called Pictures and Promises, and it's at the Vancouver Art Gallery. This was done with Grant Arnold, who's one of the photography experts at the art gallery, borrowing from its extensive collection, and it involves some outstanding artists, including Ken Lum from Vancouver, Barbara Kruger, Cindy Sherman, Andy Warhol, just a who's who. And these images and this show is intended to get people to think about how the language of some contemporary photography and advertising bears some similarities. And it was inspired by a show of the same name in New York in the early 80s that was curated by Barbara Kruger. So what Emmy Lee Wall and Grant Arnold wanted to do was go forward 40 years and do this again, but now we're in an age when we're just being bombarded by images, whether it's through social media or through the regular media. And so I recommend this show because there's lots to see, 30 artists, and you can enjoy it in a pandemic. Unlike there aren't live events, so head down to the Vancouver Art Gallery and check it out. The third one I'm going to mention is another public art exhibition, and it's by a Mi'kmaq artist named Jordan Bennett, and it's at the Dalgrauer substation, which is on Burrard Street downtown. And he was inspired by a piece of art, Mi'kmaq art, that is at the Vancouver Museum, and it was a porcupine quill basket. So he saw this art that was from his traditional territory by one of his ancestors on display in Vancouver. So he decided to go back to his traditional territory and take a picture of a moose head that's festooned with all of these colors, and now it's going up on the Dalgrauer substation as a public art exhibition, and it's curated by Kate Henderson. So those are three of many events at the Capture Photography Festival. I highly recommend it. I'm Charlie Smith, editor of the Georgia Straight, and thanks for watching.